Let's talk about UFC 298, where we saw the dismantling of a champion, Mr. Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilya Tapura. Great fight. Great fucking fight. Volkanovski was doing some good damage, putting some pressure on. But those hands are sharp, man. Young guys game. That's one of the things you start to identify, especially as you begin to watch in the lower weight classes, is that youth is always kind of an advantage in the younger weight classes or the lighter weight classes, simply because it's more of a match of technique and speed. And as the great Chael Sonnen used to say, the bigger the guys, the worse they are, because they move slower, they're not as technically adept, and they rely more so on power. So one of the things that Volkanovski was facing is a sharper guy with good knockout power, good speed, and he's younger. Volkanovski's like 35 until Ilya was like 27. Huge gap when you consider the war was fought between Volkanovski, how his pace, how many fights he was fighting, and it was a great fight. I looked at Volkanovski. He didn't look like he was out of class. He just got caught. You get put on the fence, you don't have much to move, and somebody got some dangerous sharp hands, they will catch it, brother. They will catch it. And so it's really not a knock on Volkanovski. You get a lot of people saying, oh, his legacy is diminished and all this stuff. Volkanovski really shouldn't beat himself up. He had a great title run. Beat Max Holloway, I think, 2.5 times, I would say. Pretty much ran through everybody in the division. Fought the top comers. Went to go for the champ status twice. One on short notice, one planned. And he gave us some great memories. He was a funny guy. And I wish that he would have won again because those commercials are fucking hilarious. But shout out to Tapura. He did a great fight. He got the championship. He had a belief in himself, and here he is. He sits as the world champ of the featherweight division. Now, how long will he reign? Good question, because there's a guy named Mr. Max Holloway that's been waiting for somebody to dismantle Volkanovski so he can get another crack at it. I think he's first up. And I think Volk, on the flip side for Volk, he should probably take some time off. Just take a little bit of time off. Take maybe a year or so, recoup. Because you got to think about it. He had a great, tough war with Islam the first fight, got head kicked, and then came back 4 months later and just got dropped. And I don't think his career is over. He's still probably the top dude in the field. But I would say take some time off, relax, find some other interests, figure out some things you want to do after retirement, game plan, and then make another title run. Because, listen, he's going to be back. Volk, I don't see Volk losing too many guys. I don't think his invincibility is really all that gone. Yeah, he got slept, but shit, everybody in the fight game gets slept. It's just part of the fucking territory. You get beat sometimes, you win sometimes. It's just the way the game rolls, man. But it was a great fight. I enjoyed watching it. I saw some good things. And Ilya, whatever his name is, he got some sharp hands. Now, his call-out of Conor McGregor, very confusing. Very, very confusing. Because McGregor has no chance is ever going to come back down to 145. So I was very confused by why you chose to call him out. I know you're looking for a money fight, but that didn't make any sense. If anything, I would call out Max Holloway, get that out the way. Because that's more of a fight that's actually in demand. Because even though Volk wants the rematch, I don't see Volk getting a rematch right away. Simply take some time off. He needs to kind of sit back and relax, take some time off, re-heal up. I don't necessarily say he needs to go back to the drawing board. It wasn't like he got outclassed. He just got caught on the fence and caught it right. And if that left hand would have landed on Ilya, then we would have probably seen a different fight. Because it wasn't like Ilya got out that thing unscathed. He took some shots. He had some damage. So if anything, I'd like to see Max get another re-chance at the title. And if that's good, we might get a double rematch with Max and Ilya, depending on how good Max does or if he gets beat. And then bring Volk back. I don't see any problem with bringing Volk back. Great title, great champion. And it's kind of disappointing because we are finally starting to see his little bit of his personality with that old man gig, which is fucking hilarious. That's a top tier commercial. And Volk's all right. He's all good. Now let's go down the card a little bit. We had Ian Machado fighting Jeff Neal. Semi of a snooze fest because Jeff Neal didn't want to turn it on for some reason. He was okay with just kind of like playing points, and it was disappointed about the loss, which I can't necessarily understand. It's like, bro, he was kind of just tapping you, and it wasn't like a great showing of Ian, and Ian is now kind of running into his heel phase. He was trying to be liked, and then we find out he's a very unlikable character. And I say you just steer into it, lean into him more. Fuck it, just be the hated guy, be the heel. There's more money in being the heel. And he had an interesting call out. He said he wants Kofi Covington, which is interesting because that's an interesting matchup of styles. Because if we get Colby versus Ian, we're gonna see some pretty interesting exchanges. Because we gotta see, can Ian wrestle? Can he keep that distance? Can he keep the fight standing? And I think Colby had some time to kind of get his mind right, look back. I think he's supposed to fight that one Russian nigga or Kazakhstanian dude. We're not sure if that's going to even play out, but I like the Ian Colby Covington fight because that does give Colby a chance to get an easier opponent, make another run for the title. Because say Leon's supposed to fight. He was booked 3 times and he said yes all 3, and everybody for some reason didn't want to show up. I'm very curious who the 3 guys that said no to UFC 300, because why are you passing up like title opportunity, especially on a mega stage like 300? Very confusing. And the more you kind of acknowledge and think about these things, it's interesting because it's like, does Colby want to keep fighting for championships, or does he start fighting for money? And Chael had a very interesting saying. He said, I gave up on the sport in the back room of some fight back in 2004, and I kept fighting about 2018, 2019. So it's interesting to see, what does Colby want to go with his career? Because he still got the shine, the luster. He's still a character. He still draws. He still gets paid. He still puts on a pretty good show. But as I think he's 36 now, coming on. He knows he's on the downslide of his career, and he's kind of looking for a Bisping type chance to get an opportunity. And the UFC likes guys that work with them. So if Colby's willing to take that chance to go get that fight with Ian, which would be a great trash talking experience, I would love to watch that. It'd be quite the amusing fight, not from a stylistic standpoint, but just from the build-up. Because Ian now is in a very rare state of delusion and being hated. And he's drawing attention that way, but he doesn't even realize he's doing it, which is even more hilarious when you kind of think about it. And it also kind of runs you back into the situation we got with Henry Cejudo and Merab. And Henry Cejudo got it wasn't a bad fight. Henry showed he still has it, but Merab is he's a tough customer, younger guy, training more, lack of ring rust. Henry's like 37. So once again, the lower weight classes, being a younger guy is typically always the advantage. You just got faster speed, more durability, bigger gas tank, and you're just not as washed. And one thing I was watching with Henry, it wasn't that he was washed. It's just he was a little bit slower than he normally was. You could tell a little bit of ring rust. He had an injury coming into the fight. He said he wasn't pulling out. It looked like his left forearm was pretty battered. That shit might be broken. And he just got ragdolled. But the funny thing is, Dana's like, no, you don't get a fucking post-retirement speech. Fuck that. Get out of here. I'm tired of your shit. And then you hear a lot of people saying, well, Henry, he killed his legacy. He ruined his legacy by coming back after post-retirement at the height of his game. Not really. See, that legacy thing is largely overrated. Largely, when people talk about the legacy game, it's in the moment. In the moment. Nobody gives a shit about the legacy. Legacy means absolutely nothing. Because the way of the fight game and the way just all sports is in the world of Chael Sonnen, one day you wake up and the business is done with you. And when Henry really looks at the landscape, he's like, look, I saw opportunity. I had a couple feelings that I wanted to get back in there and try it again. Let me see, I can make a quick title run, get the fuck out. And that's about what life is about. It's about taking risks. Sometimes the risks don't play out in your favor. You kind of look dumb. You fall on your face. And then sometimes the risk works perfectly. Sometimes the risk is like, yo, it came out exactly as I wanted. And you got to be happy about that. But you can never know unless you go out there and take a chance. And I think so many people are scared of taking chances in life because when you stop taking chances in life, that's when life gets boring. And see, I understand a lot of us, we want to have peace and tranquility and prosperity, but you can't have the best amount of peace. You can't look back on your life and have all these wonders and guess, what if I would have tried this? What if I would have did this? Sometimes you got to just shoot and go for it. And if it blows up in your face, hey, whatever. It blows up in your face. That's life. Welcome to the game. So anyway, yeah, the UFC 298, brilliant. I had a good time watching it. Enjoyed it from the stream, from the crib. And I hope you guys do too. I'll keep you guys updated more on the recap of UFC 298.